Big, amazing, fantastic news! Kagurabachi officially got its anime announced with a very quick 30-ish second teaser trailer for Jump Press, and my lord, it is good. We got the studio, we got the series director, we got a voice actor for Chihiro, and we got a release time for when the anime will come out, as well as other news. So we're going to jump into what we got from this very quick announcement, as well as why I believe that this is going to jumpstart a big wave, an even bigger wave of Kagurabachi hype. But before we jump into this, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps and shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. I love Kagurabachi. I would love to talk about it on the channel at some point. It just sucks because I do not want to get hit by copyright strikes again. But who knows, in the future maybe I'll figure something out. And if you want to see more of me outside of this channel, go and check out my second channel, GW Comics, where I talk about comic books. Right now I'm very DC focused, so I'm going to be focusing a lot on that. But I'm branching out to other stuff with Marvel and Image and other comics that I'm reading on the side as well. It's a passion project, and I would really appreciate if you guys go and check it out whenever you get the chance. Link to that will be in the title card and in the description down below. So let's jump into things. The trailer that we got for Kagurabachi's anime is very well done for just giving us what we'll see in episode 1. With the clanging of the blacksmith forge at Chihiro's home with his father, to the goldfish that we see that represents Enten. And then we end up seeing Chihiro just jumping down and cutting up a whole bunch of samurai and potentially other sorcerers like we saw in chapter 1. And the effects that we get when he unsheathes Enten is fantastic. With the brief bits of action sequences cutting down everybody, it looks phenomenal and fluid. Like literally the manga brought to life. Not much in terms of massive changes, so that is honestly good, as the character design feels super faithful to the manga, and with how things are directed and who is directing the show, I am incredibly excited, as well as many others. Who's directing Kagurabachi's anime, you might ask? Well, it was revealed that it's directed by Tetsuya Takeuchi. Who is that? Well, one of the main animators for at least 4 episodes of the anime Heavenly Delusion, which, go check that out. That anime came out about 3 years ago, still waiting on season 2, but it was amazing. It was a really good show, and a lot of really well animated and directed episodes that really helped with the tone and setting. I highly recommend it, but you might know him more so commonly as the man that gave us one of the most generational and iconic fights in all of shonen anime, Gaara vs. Rock Lee. Yes, we were getting the man who basically made his big debut with revolutionary ways of animating action sequences and directing them in Naruto's anime with Rock Lee vs. Gaara. This is the man that's going to be directing Kagurabachi's anime. So we are in good hands for the anime for Kagurabachi, especially since we are getting Cypic Studio to animate this. Now, you might be wondering, what is Cypic Studio? Well, Cypic Studio was originally known as Cygames Pictures, the animation studio responsible for probably most recently the Uma Musume anime, and more so recently and more popularly the Uma Musume Cinderella Grey anime, fantastic, and the movie Beginning of a New Era for Uma Musume, which I'm pretty sure by the time when Blue Lock Season 2 came out, we saw all those clips circling the internet of people saying that a horse girl racing anime will have better animation than the literal anime about soccer. So in terms of just like high, fast-paced action sequences in any regard, Cypic is definitely giving us some good stuff. But atmospherically and how things are done with the animation in the trailer so far, everything looks very vintage and classical, that it fits the tone of what Kagurabachi, at least what the story is showing us thus far. But again, this studio also gave us the Summer Hikaru Dai that came out in the summer of 2025, a very good horror anime, which I must say, was not expecting Cygames at the time to do this well of a job with a horror anime. It was incredibly well done. They also animated Princess Connect Redive, which was an anime promoting a mobile game, and I forgot the episode, but there was an episode that was just really well done that it made the rounds on the internet. And lastly, probably one of my favorite original anime of 2025, and I should honestly hope that it wins Best Original Anime for these 2025 Crunchyroll Anime Awards, Apocalypse Hotel. Genuinely a fantastic show, great vibes, very funny, somehow throws in some really good action sequences as well, and just a really nice story throughout the whole thing. If you like Free Ren, you'll probably enjoy the series as well. It has similar vibes and character motifs. But yeah, needless to say, based on what I've listened to thus far, Sidepick Studio is going to give us some generational goodness, especially with the director attached to this series. Now, we don't know how many episodes Kagurabachi's anime is going to be, but if I had to make a guess, like any other anime from Shonen Jump that has gotten their first season, it will probably be around 24 to 26 episodes, which should probably adapt somewhere within the first 80 chapters or so. Obviously, depending on how the pacing is, Kagurabachi is a very action-focused manga, and let's just be honest, I mentioned this in my video talking about and recommending Kagurabachi's manga. It is a very cinematic, not just with actual references with how things are portrayed in the manga to actual movies, but literally still pages that were drawn. I mean, it's a manga, of course it's going to be still pages, but images of the manga that were drawn out really feel like they were just stills from a literal, well-animated movie that just looked phenomenal, that had so much care into it. So quality-wise, I do not doubt that Kagurabachi will honestly look fantastic. Especially considering the fact that Kagurabachi is probably one of the two biggest weekly manga outside of One Piece that is in Shonen Jump that constantly sells super well. The other one in Weekly Shonen Jump is Ichi the Witch, but I don't expect an anime announcement for that manga for another at least 2 years, in my opinion. But it's basically considered one of the Twin Peaks of Shonen Jump, Kagurabachi and Ichi the Witch. Two fantastic manga, and Kagurabachi getting its anime is very much well deserved. But finally, outside of these announcements, we also got the announcement of when it's supposed to premiere, and it's supposed to premiere April of 2027. A full year from now, we are getting Kagurabachi's anime. So I am excited, because we have a whole year's worth to wait, which means they'll probably be done with the season by the time the first episode airs. Now, I forgot the event that was mentioned, and I cannot find the post that mentioned this, but apparently there's an event where the first 20 minutes of Kagurabachi's first episode is going to be shown in a convention, I believe, or some sort of event. Now, the thing that's interesting is that they say the first 20 minutes. That means Kagurabachi's first episode might be over 20 minutes long. So it could be like a double feature 40-minute episode, similar to how Demon Slayer had done their last 3 seasons, being 48 to 50-minute premieres and finales for their seasons. And if Kagurabachi does that, that would be generational. And I do think Kagurabachi will be something in the ballpark of the next Demon Slayer or Jujutsu Kaisen in terms of overall hype and popularity. Which I guess leads me into the last part of this video, which is Kagurabachi is going to take over anime in 2027 when it comes out. No ifs, ands, or buts. Kagurabachi started off as a meme because so many manga were getting axed from Shonen Jump, and from the one image of Kagurabachi that we got, it looked relatively cool, but also just seemed like a relatively generic swordsman type manga that we would be getting that would be axed within 20 chapters. And so we had a whole boatload of memes, edits, and just jokes throughout the entirety of the internet up until the release of its first manga chapter. And people thought it was not a bad start, but they didn't see anything from it initially. But by the time we got to our first antagonist within the first 10 chapters, people really began to like the series, and it started to show. By the time the first arc, the Shoujo arc, ended up finishing, we not only got proper development for Chihiro, we had good development in world building with very nice in terms of a foundational setup for what we could see for the future of the story and its structure going forward. But we got literal philosophical discussions on war and how certain things are created and how people can view those who take part in different wars as heroes, or maybe these were weapons of mass destruction or some stuff like that. I don't want to spoil stuff for anime onlys or people that are excited for Kagurabachi because of people constantly talking about it on the internet but have not read it, and I really don't want to spoil shit. Only thing I will say as a general plot outline is that the son of a blacksmith who was murdered by a group of sorcerers ends up stealing a bunch of these magical enchanted blades and are scattered throughout Japan. And so, once he's 18, Chihiro, after training with the hidden 7th sword that his father made before he died, goes out with his father's friend Shiba to try and find the group of terrorist sorcerers that killed his father and stole the blades. That way he can get them all back and seal them away because of wanting to preserving his father's memory and doesn't want these blades to be used for, mass slaughter and stuff like that. It's kind of an Oppenheimer situation. Like, what if Oppenheimer had a son, to a degree, with how the story kind of goes. But that's really all I can say without spoiling stuff. And with the production that we're going to be getting, with the proven track record of Psypic back when it was Psy Games, and the director of the anime being the guy that made Rock Lee vs. Gar the most iconic fight ever, I am insanely hyped for this anime, and it really does feel like it's going to be one of the most generational shows that we get of 2027. I would be shocked if this anime does not do fantastically and looks amazing. Shonen Jump and Shueisha cannot afford for this anime to be a flop also, because Kagurabachi has been making and printing some good-ass money ever since Volume 1. It broke records. I forgot how many volumes were sold when it initially came out with its first volume, but needless to say, it did a lot better than people were expecting it to. And obviously, due to people talking about Kagurabachi's manga, somehow the mangaka learned about the constant talk of Kagurabachi, and that inspired him to really lock the fuck in incredibly early, and he has not stopped up until this point. The manga has been phenomenal. We literally finished part 1 of the manga like 2 months ago from the point of me recording this video, and we are in part 2 right now, and it has been just honestly really good, and I do not see this manga ending for at least another 5 years or so, and that is insane. This manga is like 3 years old. So I am so excited for the future of Kagurabachi, and this anime is going to be amazing. This is probably the most faith I have had in an anime adaptation of any series I have ever read, outside of like more recently the most recent adaptation of Akane Banashi, and I would say for the majority of Undead Unluck's anime production. Because I've been following this manga from chapter 1, and I really do hope, and I have so much faith that this will have probably one of the best anime adaptations out there, and will definitely be part of the conversation for some of the best anime to come out in a while. But you guys let me know in the comment section down below what you think of Kagurabachi's anime coming out in April of 2027. Are you excited for the anime coming out with what we know about it so far with the director in the studio? Are you a manga reader and are excited that Kagurabachi is finally getting its anime adaptation after so much praise and hype around it since its initial first arc concluded? Or are you, at this point, an anime only, someone who hasn't touched the manga but has heard so much talk about it, and the trailer and the people attached to it got you excited and interested when the anime comes out? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and let me know if you want to see me do Kagurabachi videos in the future, because I would love to. I just gotta figure out how to get around the copyright stuff from Shueisha, because that is going to nuke the channel if I'm not careful. Same thing with Each of the Wish. But yeah, that's all I gotta say on the trailer. I know I yapped a lot, but I'm very excited for Kagurabachi, and I cannot wait for more people to check this out, especially with what I know Season 1 will most likely cover. But with all that said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you have an awesome day.